Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Feargiveness community. I am Julie Schindler. This community was founded over a year ago, right here on Facebook, but we've been on this forgiveness journey for about 3 years now. And today, it just was a day of celebration. We've had a pillow party, and Thursday nights, I get the opportunity to have the house to myself sometimes. And on those beautiful nights, I'm usually reading the story of what we're going to read tomorrow with the children in Zambia and getting prepped for that. And I just have a lot of self care going on. And so today, as I was getting ready for my self care, I have my Healy ready to go. I was going to run some programs. I was looking through all of the past videos that I have in our library for Speak Up in Color. And within there, just kind of skitter scattered throughout are updates that I do here in the Forgiveness community. And I realized a couple things that I haven't done one in a really long time, and that I have a lot to celebrate. So today marks 9 months since we have been reading to the children in Zambia, and we're going to be able to celebrate them in the next couple of days. But what an amazing journey that this has been for the last 9 months with the kids in Zambia. And then the first 6 months or so, or 8 months or so, reading to Florentina and friends. And as I looked back through each of the videos to see how far we've come, I was filled with so much gratitude. And gratitude elevates truth. That is for sure, because I was just levitating with watching how far the children have come and looking even back on Florentina and friends. We've done total 88 episodes between the two over the last year and a few months. And having this purpose to my pillow of creating this platform for children to speak up, that is the platform that is the child's version of forgiveness, the forgiveness community and journey of healing through color, where we get to teach children how to color their emotions and connect with their emotions and connect with color. And so, looking back at all of just the beautiful connections and the worldwide hugs that were done, and the postcards to Zambia, all of the songs that the children have sung at the end of our story times. And that's not even to mention Clubhouse. Every Friday, we go live with the children on Clubhouse. And so that would be about 28 stories with them. And right now, we are reading the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And we are on chapters 7 and 8 tomorrow. And so you'll have to join us there for that adventure, because it's all using your imagination and your mind. But today, I just want to thank all of the new supporters of the Forgiveness community and welcome all of our members and tell you just a little bit about what this community is about. This journey started for me after I had been on palliative care for 2 years and surviving and thriving through a neck injury that happened 10 years ago. 10 years ago, a box fell on my head and crushed my cervical spine, leaving me permanently disabled and living horizontally from a pillow. It wasn't until the last 3 to 4 years or so that we started to receive these pops of color in the darkest depths of palliative care when there was no succession plan off of it. I had written my eulogy to save pain for my family. We were preparing for the worst to happen. And then something magical happened. I knew that I could speak to my spirit guides. I had met them when my father-in-law passed away 5 years ago. So I knew I had this beautiful connection to heaven. But I always thought that connection was because I was close to heaven. And I realized in realizing that there oh, perfect. I just want to make sure that the comments are available for anyone who would like to join, or if you have any questions about this journey or your ascension or any energy updates that are given here tonight. Because we are using StreamYard, you'll need to okay yourself to be able to be part of this platform, and then and I will be able to see any comments that come through. So this journey, when I knew that I could speak to my spirit guides and they had really helped me out of some dark places, they were the ones that brought in these pops of color. And I had kind of forgot about them when I had a heart attack in 2018. And we're coming up on that anniversary this month or next month. So when we were in palliative care, and I was writing my eulogy, I was given this really big pop of color. And it said, "Don't wait, tell them now." And I looked at my eulogy and I realized that it was just a entire list of gratitude. And as I went through it and I saw how much gratitude that was I was giving out to others that had been in my life, it was tell them now. So we took our eulogy and we kind of upcycled it to make it look like a gratitude post on Facebook. And we posted it for the world to see and to ensure that it was able to touch all of the beautiful souls that have been in my life that had helped me get there to that point. And then, towards about 2 years into palliative care, it was this month, 3 years ago, we had finally, after 8 years of fighting for a full pension, our on-the-job injury was closed. And in February of 2020, right before the world shut down, we received notification from the courts that we had received a full pension for our injury. And there were some really dark years in that last 5 years of our injury. When we first started, our trash can truths, yes. When we first started, we were kind of feeling, we've had gratitude for the fact that we had it. We didn't have to be part of the horror stories that we had heard about with others with on the job injuries. And we really felt like we were, we got the good end of the stick. And little did we know that the last 5 years of fighting for a full pension would take us really into losing everything we owned, losing a home that we had built, being followed by private investigators. Our life was turned upside down. And in that darkness, you lose yourself and your security. And I remember going through it and just feeling like, you know, giving up because it was so hard for to watch my family struggle, and they were watching me struggle, and I know that that added to the pain. And as we transitioned out and we were transitioning our care over to our team of doctors, and transitioning palliative care and pain management and our cardiologist and all of the nerve specialists, all of those who were helping us through, it was challenging as 2020. And it was March when we had our first appointments. So as all the care was being transferred over and we had all of the scans done and all the testing done, our team of doctors shared with me that based on my nutrition level, my inability to chew and swallow, which I was losing and deteriorating quickly, that I would need to have a feeding tube. And that would be really next for us to ensure that I would get the right nutrients as we transitioned over to our palliative care team. And then the team was scrambling because it was 2020 and COVID, this disease or this virus was going around. And they didn't know with all the testing and everything that would need to get done, how long it would take me to get back onto a palliative care program. And they were asking me to think about doing ketamine shot or ketamine patches, and to use different methods of pain management in the meantime. And there was a moment there where I was thinking, I mean, it was my biggest fear, losing my voice, having a tube down my throat or through my nose, having my food. I was already eating and drinking soft foods, though I wasn't getting enough. But having someone else take that away from me, I remember sitting in my wheelchair in my neck brace, and I was 260 pounds. So I really felt like I was just huge. I felt big in everything, and I just felt super uncomfortable. And to know that to go through all of the testing and all of the pain management and whole new teams, I just sat there and I just said, no, there's got to be a better way. And that's when I really called in my spirit guides and said, I threw up my arms and surrendered that there has to be a better way to live through this and not be subjugated to having so much pain meds put through me, or having to research this new patch that they wanted to use. And so we just surrendered, and we started drinking in the rainbow. We started blending up everything we could get our hands on: watermelon, pineapple, spinach, making smoothies all the time. And then we found water and chia seeds. So, chia seeds were giving us like the same equivalent to a chicken breast. And so we started drinking in chia seeds and water. And then that was really kind of what started. It was about 2 weeks later, we had run out of pain meds, and I asked my team, I just was really, whoever was listening, "Please help me through this." And I received back, like, "You got this. This time will be different." And we leaned into that. And every day I wear this bracelet on my wrist, and my every one of my family members have one too. But it says one day at a time. And that's what we did. We took it one day at a time. And there were some dark days in there that drugs or alcohol would been helpful. And I remember that we did transition using alcohol for pain during that time. And I remember that it kind of consumed my life. If I needed to be up longer, I would just have a drink. If we had a family event going on, though I was completely within about 4 to 6 months, I felt my body was back from palliative care, and I hadn't had any opiates or any drugs during that time. But I would use alcohol to kind of get through the day and get through the ups. And it just became kind of our go-to. If we had a car ride or a travel to do, we would pre-prep alcohol, drinks. And I even researched what was the healthiest alcohol for the human body, which one did our body works best with. And we found that it was gin. And so I quickly got over the taste of gin and found ways to it was either gin or tequila, but we always know that tequila never does well for a long-term effect. So we would prep our drinks for travel. If I was heading up to a friend's house to stay, we would have a drink on the way and then a drink when I got there. It would kind of alleviate the pain until I would pass out. And my injury, I have two things with it that are permanent um, for now. And I know that the medical system is always changing. So every couple of years, I go back just to see kind of where our medical developments have happened. But this injury, it crushed my cervical spine, and we had a surgery to repair, and hardware was placed inside. The artificial disc that were used as replacements are have my head sitting on a pivot ball. And this was a new artificial disc that had come out about 5 to 10 years prior to my injury. And we fought so hard to have these discs put in and this particular hardware to be used, because it would give me full mobility and get me back on my feet quicker. Little did we know that because of the months that I had spent on minimal movement bed rest and the discs were pressed into my spinal cord, they left small holes and tears along the entire spinal region. And though there are mesh patches that were in there, they have failed. So we have a CFS leak. So the CFS leak, it requires every morning for me to sit still in this spot here. And that's why I did this pillow talk here, because I'm usually in our studio and it's full of color and full of kids' stories. But this is where most of my healing happens. So I sit here every morning for the first 3 to 4 hours of the day, draining out my spinal column. And I have to catch it because CFS fluid doesn't like, it doesn't work well with stomach fluid. So I use these love rags, which up until recently, they've always been white. And they are just t-shirts that have been stained that my husband and son wear. And we cut them up because we were using towels and washcloths and tissues, and it would just make my face so raw. So these have been our saving grace for the last 10 years. And my godson and I, during Halloween, we decided to tie dye most of them. So now we get color. So I have to catch it. And the CFS fluid pours out of my nose, my eyes, all of my glands. It absorbs through all the tissues in my throat. And this is the first moment that I'm vertical of the day. So even if I get up to go to the bathroom at night, can set off my CFS fluid, and I'm stuck sitting draining for a couple hours when all I wanted to do was just go to the bathroom and tiptoe back to bed. But this journey is what it is, and it's brought us here to this moment. So, with our CFS leak, once we're fully drained, we will get our voice back and we'll get movement back. But we have to replenish it. So, we have to fill it all back in. So, we have a ton of water cups next to me, and this one is a glow in the dark. So, this one's kind of fun right now. But we have water, and then I have a whole bunch of juices. So I drink 80% of my meals through a straw. And over the last 3 years, I have been guided to create recipes from my pillow that are all pulp based. I know that juicing is a big thing now, but when you take away the pulp, you really take away a lot of the nutrients that I need and not having solid meals in my stomach. So, what we do is we've created these recipes, and some of them have 40 items and nutrients in it, others have 15 to 12. Total, we get about 80 nutrients a day of unique items that are within these pulp-based drinks that we drink. So I know that in my pre-life, prior to this, I wasn't eating or drinking 40 vegetables or 80 vegetables and herbs a day. But through these recipes that have all been guided through these pops of color that come in, have really helped us to create, and it is the base and foundation of our life. And all the recipes are free for anyone who's willing and wanting to try them. They're all made with just a Vitamix is really all you need. And then we vacuum pack them in jars and freeze them all. So we make up big batches every month, and then they all go into the freezer. And then every day we're just taking out our meals, really. So that's really been the journey up until this point and on the nutrition aspect of it. But forgiveness is a whole rainbow of healing. And it's everything from the nutrition to the spiritual to self love to self forgiveness and gratitude. And those are really self love, self forgiveness, and gratitude are what has created forgiveness. And forgiveness is a journey that is only for you. Others benefit from it based on the work you do, but it's showing others how you want to be loved by first loving yourself and doing all the things that you want to bring into your life that brings love, joy, and happiness. And forgiveness can be, there's so many aspects to it, but it really starts with looking into your own eyes and that mirror work and journaling, affirmations, uh, muscle movement, music, all of the jam session. So we have a trash can, and our trash can started when we were really super young, and it holds everything that's ever happened to us in our lifetime. It holds all of our traumas and insecurities, any of the shame and blame that we hold on to or we're carrying. And this journey through forgiveness has allowed us to connect with our inner child, who is really the owner of this trash can. And for me, when we were 17, under the northern lights in Alaska, we closed off our childhood trash can because everything in it, it wasn't our fault. We had just experienced a teen loss and pregnancy that really threw us over the edge. And I remember being sent to Alaska because I was a little off from my family. They didn't understand what was going on, and neither did I. So I was sent to be up to Alaska to spend some time with my father. And I spent 3 months in Alaska during the summertime where it was always light out. And I remember the northern lights would come out when it would kind of get kind of dark, and we would go to this bluff, and over the bluff, you could see the Pacific Ocean and the whales and just the beauty of it. And then above, you had all of this color. And I remember being freezing because it was still pretty cold. But I sat there and I had just got my driver's license. And so it was the first time that I was able to drive. I had been in Alaska for over 30 days, and I was able to. In Alaska, you didn't need driver's ed, but in Washington state, you had to have driver's ed or be 18 years old. So it was a huge milestone, and we were able to drive all by ourselves. So we drove to a high school that had bleachers overlooking a bluff, and we sat there and just admired the colors from above. And we had this very spiritual moment where we didn't know what to do with our life and everything that's ever happened to us. And we have some pretty dark traumas in there. And we were told that we would be closing off our trash can and we would come back to it when we were strong enough and ready to heal. Little did we know that it would take us about another 15, almost 20 years before we were ready to really open that trash can again. And it took a box falling on our head that gave us the time. When you live horizontally, you have a lot of time on your hands. So it gave us the time to really dump out that trash can of traumas and insecurities and go through it and meet our inner child and really understand everything that's ever happened to us through the eyes of a child. And our inner child was able to show us that the good, bad, and indifferent, that with every situation, though all we may have remembered was the pain, our inner child showed us the colors within, and that there wasn't just bad, there was still good, and there was gratitude to be had because there was always she would always find something to be grateful for. And where I would say, but this happened, and she would say, but this happened. And so when we were able to start going through each of those traumas and insecurities, they're called our trash can truths. And as we would upcycle each one, we would get grateful for the trauma, for those people who were within it, who may have caused the trauma, um, those who helped us through it. And that is where we found forgiveness. It was self love and self forgiveness. First, we had to forgive ourselves for all the time that we held on to those traumas and insecurities and the shame and blame for all of it. It wasn't about anyone else but me and my inner child. And then I got to listen and really listen to her and her experience through it all, and then be a parent. I got to reparent her. And we never felt heard as a child because we told others that these things happened to us, but no one ever believed us. They thought that we were just telling a story, or our imagination was going off, or those things really couldn't happen, or you were too young to know. And through this experience that we've learned that children don't lie. And that is the biggest aspect that our inner child brings through, is that children don't lie, not about the big stuff. And their imaginations can be huge, but their imaginations are still building on a truth and a foundation that they believe. And that is how their story comes to be. So when I realized that my inner child just needed to be heard, I stopped everything and I just started listening, listening to every detail of her experience, and from age 4 and on. And then we learned about gestational trauma through Clubhouse, just like 2 years ago. We had already been on our forgiveness journey, and we'd upcycled a lot of the trauma. We'd found forgiveness and offered forgiveness to ourselves, and we would boomerang out forgiveness to others through the work that we were doing. But then we learned about gestational trauma, and that is the trauma that we brought into this world, the trauma that really set our future forward, and that may have been birthed out of another person's pain and suffering, that was birthed out of another person's pain and suffering. And we realized that we were brought and we were born with this belly backpack of everything that's ever happened to our mother, our father, their father, our brothers and sisters before we were born. It is all in our belly backpack that we birthed. That is, it's hidden in deep inside of us. It's within our limiting beliefs. It is why we would do things without knowing why we're doing them. It was ingrained within religious beliefs. And when we realized that that was our job too, it was our job to not only to upcycle what we can remember, but what we were born with. And when we started to go back through that journey, that really needed our spirit guides. And it also needed us to find out more about our parents and about the experience of our earthly parents and what they went through prior to our conception. And when you go back and you ask your mother or father, what was your life like before I was born? Tell me about your childhood traumas. What does your trash can hold within? Because whatever's in your trash can is in my belly backpack. And it may be something that I am recycling through. It could be addiction. It could be sexual abuse. It could be just the way that anxiety, depression, the way that we handle situations. There's so many aspects of gestational trauma that really transfers from one birth to the next. And so when we started to ask those questions, we realized how big the boulders were within our trash can in our belly backpacks, that we knew that we were strong enough to heal, and that we'd done the work and we'd been given forgiveness in this pathway out of pain using color. And if we were to go back for our parents and our lineage healing, to go deep down into the roots of our family tree and start to offer healing, self love, and forgiveness, imagine what that could do for our own children. And my children they're adulting now. They're 21, and our son will be 26 next month. And I see how many of my traumas that happened to me as a child are recycling in their lives. And I couldn't let that happen anymore. And I couldn't let my brothers and sisters go through their addictions and their traumas of their life without doing something about it. And I knew I was strong enough to do this. And I'm not special. Everyone has this ability to tap into their intuitive channel, to seek guidance from their spirit guides that are always with you, to dive deeper into our trash can truths, and to seek healing for those who came behind us and those who come in front of us. So we have 4,400 souls, they say, that are attached to every birth that happens. And that is everyone who's come before you. And if you think about that, if I just took the last few generations, we have grandfathers that went through war. Our dad was in the military. Uh, we have all of the pain and suffering that they experienced, and we've had children that have died within the family at birth. We've had sexual abuse that have coursed through both sides of the family. And when you just look at the last few generations, it was imperative that someone do the work. And so I took it upon myself to really be that someone, and to help those who came before me to release their own pain, to upcycle their own trash cans of traumas and insecurities. And it has been a journey. But before I can help others, it really comes down to helping myself. And it has to start with my first healing on a physical level, inside, outside, upside, downside, and tapping into the emotional healing, the soul healing, the physical and the mental healing, and then also to tap into the energy blocks that we all have within us. So the journey has been very interesting. It's been super fun, but it's also been super hard. And the shadow work is very difficult. Hearing what my inner child went through and what she experienced at all ages, even in her 20s and 30s, really going back to the mask that she wore in her career, that saved her during that time, that she could help others and be a light for others without having to drag her trash can around and that darkness with her. So when we were given the opportunity to live horizontally and to live those first few years, 6 years or so of it, in darkness of pain, we were able to use this journey out of this pain and now see that it all was for a purpose. And that purpose leads us to this moment of being here on this earth right now. And a lot of the energy updates that I've received this week is just to be present, to celebrate our physical bodies, to dance on our pillow, to listen to music, to to connect with our animals, and to be a part of nature. Our barefoot walks are a lot lately to stay grounded with the energies that we have going on. And I don't know exactly who is sending hugs. It's not quite showing me, but I just want to say thank you for joining this journey and this trash can truth. This really, it's just a chat box uh, for today. So a few things that have helped me. Oh, Kelsey, I look forward to connecting with you because I feel like our journeys and the information you put out, it keeps me in flow. So I'm sending gratitude to you for being a part of this community and the communities that you sponsor and the foundations that you're building across the world. It's really inspiring for me. So thank you for being here. I want to share with you guys just one of the kind of my little tools that I use. And this came into my life when I was being helped by a healthcare professional years and years ago. And it's called the Healy. And it works on a cellular level. It is quantum energy that is being brought down from the universe directly into this little device, and it works with your smartphone. So before 2 years ago, this was only available for practitioners, and then it was released in the US that it was available for us to purchase. And I had received the Healy scans from a practitioner, and it was because I didn't know my own emotions. I could say I was in pain, but pain can be physical, it can be mental, it can be etheric, it could be emotions. And when I kept saying I was in pain, well, yes, I have this physical injury that causes pain, but is that the pain I was truly feeling? And I didn't know I had been so disconnected and disassociated from my emotions. I didn't know how to read them or to even speak them. And I had a lot of blockages um, physically in the throat chakra area. So, what this practitioner would do is he would do a scan on me, and it was an aura scan. And it would show me kind of, I'll show you what it looks like. So, this is the beginning of it. It shows you your auras in color. And then it breaks down each of your chakras and your energy fields. And so it will give you kind of a highlight of the top three energy fields that are the strongest that we're working with, or the ones that we need to bring attention to. And at the time, I didn't understand any of this, but what was the most important was the actual um, here's our rainbow. So it gives you kind of your physical rainbow of how each of your chakras are currently running and on energy that they're running. But when you run the analysis, and I'm going to just do the basic analysis. When you run the analysis with the Healy, it will break down any emotions that are currently within 6 feet of your being. So sometimes when you're going through this, there might be a negative emotion that could be someone that spends a lot of time near you. And when I would run these scans for a little girl who's fighting cancer, it would show, because her and her family were kind of in the hospital together, it would show not only what she was feeling, but also what everyone else was feeling around her, her mom and dad, the nurses, doctors that would spend a lot of time with her. So we really had to um, weed out what was going on within her versus others to really offer help. But what it does, it breaks down your emotions that are currently within 6 feet, and it gives them words to it. And it will show you on a scale of 1 to 10 how imperative, how much energy this particular emotion is holding within your body. And how much energy are you expelling towards this emotion? And then it also gives you the percentage of energy. So when it's a high percentage that your body is spending towards it, and it is high on the numbers, it shows you that this emotion is pretty important to you. So what he would do is he would scan my aura, and he would give me and send me the list of my emotions. And then I would go through them and I would read the emotion, and it says the present state. So the present state of this person is X, Y, and Z. And then it would give you the chakras that were included, the colors that are attached to it, and then how to remove that emotion from you. Things that you could say, affirmations, whether it's spending time in nature, it would give you a list of ideas of what to do with that emotion. And at the beginning, it was just knowing that I would read the emotion and I would be like, ooh, yeah, that's me. That's definitely happening. And though, because I was so disassociated from my emotions, I I had gratitude for this program to give me the words that this is how, yes, I was feeling, but I could never articulate that to anyone else. I could just say, well, I'm feeling my stomach hurts, or, um, ooh, gosh, when I talk about this person in my family or this trauma, I can feel it certain places in my body. And so we were able to use the Healy to help me to step through the disassociation and put words to my emotions. And I'm an open book, so I'll tell you, in the current one that we just ran, the very first one that shows up, it says, and I haven't read this yet, so this will be reading for you and I at the same time. The person knows that they refuse to experience one or more aspects of the solar plex chakra, and they are showing avoidance behavior. This is running 95% of my energy, and it is a 3 on the list, 1 to 10. So 3 is it's in there, but because it's 95% of my energy, we need to do a little bit more research. And it's true. So our solar plex holds, our creativity. It holds our to-do list, a lot of it. It holds all of our emotions. So if there's something that I am avoiding, if it's a trash can truth that I'm like, oh, I'll do that one later, or I'll dig into that, maybe tomorrow. Whenever you show avoidance, it will show up, and it will cause a blockage of energy within that chakra. But it also tells me what color it's shining in. So the solar plex is shining, oh, the solar plex is your personal power. So that's yellow usually. And it is shining in the color white. And we saw from my rainbow that my crown chakra is so open. And that is because we drop into our intuitive channel before we start any type of energy work. And so our rainbow was wide open. So this is giving me honest truth, straight from source of where we need to spend some time and really to stand in our power. And then it shows us how to harmonize these topics using strength, power, control, freedom, personality, responsibility, judgments, values, and decisions by strengthening the vibration yellow within our lives for the solar plex chakra. And then it also gives us an affirmation. And it says, I am living the themes of the solar plex chakra full of trust. That I trust in my personal power, I trust in my divine mission, that I am putting forth that trust and vibrating it out there into the universe. The next one is in the solar plex chakra. This is 90% and it's an 8. So this shows me that I need to pay attention. And it's saying that the person has experienced the dominance of the father in early childhood, and as a result, feels unstable if they are not being dominated. Whew, talk about trash can truths. This is for sure true. And it is validation came up on our pillow today. and it was something that we threw into the violet flame. So there's a few ways to work your energy and to release forgiveness, but the violet flame is a beautiful tool to use. That anything that comes up, you can throw it in and transmute it, as long as you're not holding it back from you feeling and experiencing it and bringing to light that when I think about it, I've allowed authority figures to help guide my career. I allowed authority figures to determine things that, as a child, going through divorce at a young age, being separated from your parents and being kind of in this custody battle and court battles at times, guardian ad litems, that other people were dictating for our inner child what they could and could not do, who they could and could not love. And then you have the energy of your parents that are fighting, and the turmoil of your brothers and sisters being separated, living in different homes, having that all male figures in our inner child's life dominated her in one way or shape or form. Religion was a huge one that we've been upcycling. So, what's awesome about these is that they don't make my stomach turn anymore as they did in the beginning, because in the beginning, these are emotions that we'd never found words for before, but now we had them. And then it was our responsibility of what we did with them. So when you give forgiveness to yourself and you upcycle and you do your jam session, which is journal it out, affirm the things that currently did happen, use your mirror work to look into your own eyes and really get it all out. Let your inner child share their experience with you. And then you step into meditation with your spirit guides to gain any additional information that's needed from the universe. And then we are able to use, sometimes music would give us the words we needed for our emotions. And then we get to really jam it out. So using muscle movement, nature, breath work, and gratitude to move these emotions through us. And so this was a big one. And what this is telling me is that the work we did today and yesterday about validation is also bringing back um, the dominance. And that is one more trash can truth that we are going to be throwing into our violet flame today. So that was a good one. This one is 88%. It's an 8. It is the sacral chakra, and it's the emotional body in the color orange. And the present state of this emotion is there is an intellectual idea of parenthood. And this is a good one to come up as well. Our daughter recently moved in September to California. And so I'm not a part of her life on the daily basis. I get the every few days we get a FaceTime, or once a week we'll get a long discussion with her. And so I've had to really let go of my children and let them live the life that they are meant to live. And though I want for them to tap into their spiritual awareness, that I know they're stronger than me in their abilities, it's their journey. And I can only show them through how I love myself and how I bring in the forgiveness and how I live forgiveness every moment of every day, that they will pick up what is necessary for them at that time. So this one was another good one. And the affirmation to that is I have a holistical view of parenting. So I now know that I'm on the right track with that one. And that one's going to be an easy one to toss into the violet flame and to upcycle. The next is in the fifth chakra, the throat chakra. It's in the color blue. This person had to make a decision to whom they listen, either to their father or their mother. They were not allowed to love both parents at the same time. So we talked about that. I knew that that is what we're working on, and that is part of our trash can truths today and this week that we are tossing into the violet flame. But this shows me that we've already brought that up. So the synchronicities to the forgiveness or to the healing, it we knew that that emotion, because we're working through it, is already within our field, and it's being pulled in to for it to be transmuted, not only through the work that we're doing spiritually, but we're going to have the help of this quantum field of energy to really break down that emotion and send it back out into the ethers. And so when we run this Healy scan after we go through the emotions, the Healy does a lot of this work for us. It breaks down that emotion and that energy within the field. When I see it in my mind, it reminds me of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So, do you remember Violet? Not Violet. One of the girls where she had the candy bar, and they would shrink the candy bar or make it bigger. When they break it up into small particles, and those particles are kind of floating over your head, and then they come back into and are created into a solid form again. That is what I see happening energetically with the Healy, that it's taking this emotion and it's breaking it up into all of its pieces. And it is allowing that to be cleared from our energy field on a cellular level. And so when we know that we've read it, we've understood it, we understand that that is the emotion we're working through, but we're going to have a little extra help. Not only are we asking our guides to remove or the Akashic records for more information on it, we know that the Healy is breaking that down on a cellular level and helping us heal that emotion from the inside out. And the mother father wounds are big, but that's also helping us to balance the duality within between the two. This person's food intake is balanced, so they do not need to eat much or too little. On our pillow of trash can truths, I asked my guides this week. This is in the sacral chakra, the emotional body, and it's in the color orange. So a few days ago on the 314th portal, we had and I will be posting those videos on YouTube today. So I just went through and added the light language and gave back the gifts that were received from the galactical portal. But on the 314 galactical portal, we received in 3 ships with energy funnels and energy fields in them. And each of them um, gave us more information. And I was asked from my team of guides to lean into our forgiveness recipes and only do what was only eat, drink, and consume what was within our forgiveness recipes. So that's our grateful greens, our roots, our rainbow roots, our dream catcher, our sunrise shots, and the smoothies that we've been making recently. So I was a little nervous because um, I use them, but I have 2 meals a day that I get about 4 bites each meal. And they were showing me that, yeah, Julie, but when you look at those 4 bites, because I'm receiving all this amazing nutrients from the drinks, I will take my 4 bites and it might be apple pie because it's soft, it's easy to consume, um, and or I will choose things that may not be the healthiest. And as we transition energetically through the next 5 to 7 days, all the way through the spring equinox, the new moon on the 21st, and I'm shown through the 23rd is the energy that I was given. It really asked me to have clean eats, very clean and purified water. We have a purification process that we do with the sun and the moon that we fill up jugs of water in glass and we put them in front of the sun. They sit on the 33 codes, which is an energetic book of the blueprint for the new earth. So we rotate our water through that and we use Celtic salt. And this whole journey, I've never needed a book. Everything has always been divinely guided. I receive a pop of color, I receive the information, and because I have let go, I trust, and I've surrendered, I will just do whatever I'm guided to do. The smoothies that we make, the drinks that we've created have all been guided from above or below. So we were asked to step deeply into our forgiveness um, recipes and only drink through our straw, really. Go full 100% from the 80%, go full 100% into forgiveness. And I was a little worried about that. And I think it's because I like those, I cherish the 4 bites that I do get each day. So we've leaned in, but this is confirmation. So this saying that my food take is balanced and in balance on an energetic level shows me that the work we've done the last couple days, that the information that I keep getting on the inside is everything you need is within. You have everything you need within. And we know that in the future, water will be our nutrients. That will be where we will be getting anything and everything we need as we step forward. And it also shows me cosmic fruit. And we know that our breath will be our language and our energy will be our currency. So those are things that we foundationally know and believe. Stepping into it now and releasing that hold that food has had on us all of these years is the journey that we are seeking. And it's a trash can truth. We've used food as comfort our whole lives. It saved us in the moments of pain and despair and destruction that was within our childhood trash can of traumas and insecurities. We were up to 260 pounds 3 years ago when we started this journey, and food was our safety net. So releasing that, I've asked my guides, and I keep hearing everything you need is within, and this time will be different. And we heard this time will be different 3 years ago in March when we started our journey off of palliative care, started drinking in our nutrients and our rainbow of all of the colors, and we started our forgiveness journey. So when I heard that this time will be different, I was all in because I knew how well our guides have protected us through the last 3 years and have really shown us the way. So today I had a really bad headache, and I know that that is because um, we released coffee, but I could tell that when we released coffee a few weeks ago when our guide said, okay, you're done with it, it just didn't taste right in our throat anymore. And the taste and smell kind of, um, it had a chemical taste to it. So we knew that it was easy to let go of coffee. Once we have that chemical taste, or it's not a natural sense of it, our body will just kind of let it go. So we went through the headaches of that, but I could see now that we were that apple pie or ice cream is soft and it's cooling to the throat. Those kind of things that we replaced it with sugar. And so our guides are saying, okay, Julie, now is the time to let it all go. You get enough of the sweetness from the recipes that you already have, using mulberry sugar on our sweet potatoes, or um, the juices that we use to offset our pulp in our drinks, that there is enough there and that everything we need is within. So today, as that headache came on after a reset, I just drank a ton of water. I grabbed my grateful greens, and right now, oh yeah, we have So for our dinner time, we have our grateful greens, which has 40 vegetables and herbs in it, and it's a pulp. And then we have our rainbow roots, which has 15 vegetables, are just root vegetables and herbs. Um, these two are our basics. We have our water. And then tonight for the sweetness, we decided for our dinner was we were going to do breakfast for dinner. And we made this concoction this morning, and it is roasted sweet potatoes with mulberry sugar on them. And it was a white sweet potato from California. It was a substitute in our Instacart. And then we added a banana and a little bit of vanilla from doTERRA. So doTERRA's Madagascar vanilla was in here with some oat milk, and it is so good. It probably would be great with cinnamon, even cocoa. We'll have to create some new things with it. But I also put one in the freezer because I love banana milkshakes, and that's what it reminds me of. So we're gonna test out the scoops and see how it does as an ice cream as well. So we have really leaned in, and this is confirmation for me. So I'm honored because I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to do it, but we now know that this time will be different and everything we need is within. The next one is the issue of parenthood is approached with fear. We talked about that. The fear of just letting my children go and letting them live the lives that they need to live and step into an observer mode where I can send them. I mean, I can send them as much distance healing as I want, but it's their journey and it's their time for them to figure it out on their own. And then lastly, ooh, this is a good one. The person is unable to use criticism as a constructive message for themselves. Therefore, they reject them and see them as an attack. This was on my pillow because I was telling my husband that when how he reacts or how we react to things says more about us than it does about the person who's delivering the information. And I really questioned myself. How do I do with criticism? And I don't have a ton of criticism coming. I live horizontally. I live in a kind of a bubble. I don't get a lot of interaction with people. But I know that there is feedback out there and I welcome that feedback. But do I really? So this is a good one to throw into the violet flame and seek guidance from my guides to really be open to any feedback that comes to me and how I can use that as a learning tool and not get offended. We've removed judgment of others, but have we removed judgment of ourselves? That's a harder one. So I know that I can come into any situation and have an open heart and mind for those who I meet and seek guidance from or offer guidance to have powwows and to be able to share the energy with others. But have I really stopped and stopped self-criticizing myself? Have I stopped the self-sabotage in those darker moments where it creeps up on you? When I'm in pain, can I really see past that in self and allow that information to come through? And that's a good one. We're gonna put that is the throat chakra, and it's shining in the color red. And red for us is always anytime we red pops up in any situation, it shows us that there's more work to be done within. So that one we're going to work on. And I'm going to need some criticism to really make sure that I'm not triggered by it and that I'm not how I respond is self-reflected and it offers me the best self-love and self-forgiveness within. And to quickly self-forgive. Like it's okay to receive that criticism and to understand it, receive it in, allow it to flow through you, kind of get the butterflies in the stomach area when, like, oh my gosh, someone has something to say, negative about me or my journey. Well, this also came through this week with, and many of you who are on a spiritual journey may find is you've changed. You've changed. And I've got that from every aspect of my life. Yes, I have changed. I am not the same person that I was 3 years ago. And I love who I am now. Though you may not understand who I am or what I do, I am a multidimensional being. And some days I am receiving in energy from the galactical realm. Other days I sit for hours in meditation, not only healing myself, but offer healing to the collective. And then I am working with a team of beautiful, energetic souls that we will receive missions and activations, and it will take us to these random places that we need to go through meditation. Or I'm the crazy lady who stands outside every morning, noon and night, barefoot, wrapped in a blanket, with surrounded by cats, receiving in the sunrise, or uh, giving gratitude to the sunset, or standing at the 1212 portal of the day and just bathing in the central sun. I am that person, and the I have changed. Um, is a big one because I have, and I love who I am now. And though the others, I have lost a lot of people along the journey, or they have backed away to watch from afar. And I'm okay with that because I am sending you so much love and light. And I applaud you for even watching from afar to see what is going on. When I connected with GPMS, and that is a beautiful story in itself that I don't know if I'll have enough energy for today. But I know that when I speak of a new world that is without poverty and pain and suffering, and that this is possible and it's going to happen. When I say that it's divinely guided, and I see in the Akash, I see how GPMS plays out for all of humanity, and I get to speak directly to the Divine Mother and Father within my rainbow bridge, to know the inner workings of it, that this is truly our pathway forward for all of humanity, especially the children. I know just saying that, people roll their eyes and they look away, but I'm here to tell you, I kind of feel like, can you hear me now? The Verizon dude that uh, would walk around with a cell phone trying to show you that you have a connection, and that roaming, or you can still get your cell service. I feel like I'm that guy. That, can you hear me now? And I'm showing you all of these pathways to connect to healing through color and through energy, and to creating a peace on earth through GPMS. I know that I may sound crazy, and I'm okay with that, because I also know that it is the divine plan for all of us going forward, and it will take us to new heights, and to new give us a completely different blueprint. And it's going to happen like this year. It's ready to go. It just needs the consent of each and every one of you out there in the world to take 3 minutes and put one egg in the GPMS basket. You're seeing your financial institutions fall away. Your eyes are being lifted to the vaccine and all the forever chemicals that were deliberately asked to be put in the bodies of our elderly, of our brothers and sisters, and our children. And now we're seeing so many deaths from those that we thought that they were taking care of us. And GPMS is showing, the world is showing us that we need a new forward. And GPMS is ready to go. and it is completely divinely led in all aspects, to help us to raise up our rainbow and to raise up the children out of poverty and pain and suffering. And we lose 30,000 humans a day. 15,000 of those are children due to abuse, neglect, poor food, not having access to water. And GPMS, it changes all of that. So I won't step off that soapbox when it comes to GPMS. And I know that I've had a lot of people defriend me lately, but I've also gained so many new friends through the work that I'm able to do with a community of like-minded, brilliant, soul, divinely led brothers and sisters who see the world as I do, and that it is heaven on earth being created through GPMS. So that is really kind of what my Thursday nights really look like. We go deep into our trash can, we pull out all the truths that we can physically think about, and then we use Healy to show us anything that's within our energy field that we also need to throw into the violet flame. And then once we've kind of got our violet flame, uh, all of our kindling in it, then we light it up through our Feargiveness rainbow and tap into through a meditation and our we're losing it. Yes. And yeah, and our energy, our fields to really use alchemy to light up that violet flame and transmute all of this the emotional, physical, spiritual, etherical, and mental um, things that need to be brought into the light. And all of that is going to help us over the next week or so as we are helping in the collective to really raise others up as we are ensuring that we are purified. So, purification is huge for energy updates. We are getting completely, our blood is being updated, all of our DNA is being updated. Yesterday, we did a collective purge of biochemicals and biowarfare. We were able to help the collective really use the violet flame to go into areas that are diseased, full of disease and destruction from any biochemicals that have been placed into the earth in a lot of different sites, but one in particular. And then we were able to celebrate in a really huge party with our teams from above and our teams from below with the work that they were able to help us do. So, our grid workers at the end of it were singing, and our archangels above were singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because we were working with a really low density energy to expel that devastation, destruction, and despair from Gaia. We needed our full teams. So we had our teams from above, and then we had our teams from below, working directly all the way to the core, purifying and giving us kind of a solar flash from below up. So the sun let off a halo the other day, and that halo was directly correlated to work that the collective is doing together to really purge. And you could see in the photos of the energy, it was above and below. So we were able to really pull that flash and use it from below and push up any densities from Gaia that really needed to be purified and purged and transmuted within the violet flame. And our below teams were singing Elvis, the If I Could Dream. And that was a song that we were gifted in August of last year when I surrendered and threw my hands up into my guides, into the Divine Father and Mother. And I said, show me how to reach Cancer. I need to be able to reach the densities that cancer lives at, to help some little girls that are struggling with neuroblastoma cancer. And I was so in a desperation for it that you never get what you want when you want it. You get what you need. And so Elvis showed up. And for weeks, if not months, I was singing this song, If I Could Dream. And I didn't know why I was singing the song. I just knew that my guides gave it to me and I needed to learn the song, but never go up, always go down. So when you're singing the If I Could Dream song, um, it's already low because it's Elvis, but it asks you to go lower and lower. And so we've learned how to go really low in our echo chamber. And once we got there and we were able to vibrate out this echo energy through light language, we were then told that that's how you reach cancer. And that's how you reach the strongest disease and destruction, despair, depression, all of those, suicide, all of those are in that really low density vibration. And that was brought up yesterday. So when we put the energy into the echo chamber of how to purify and to transmute bioweapon warfare and chemicals, we were given Elvis. And so our teams below, they were vibrating out this song and density, bringing everything up to the surface. So then we, from the above and below, we could pull it all into our violet flame and really set forth our alchemy and alchemize all of it and purify the Akashic records, our timelines. We merged 3 timelines together. It was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony and activation and transmutation that was able to help the collective. So we will see that ripple out over the next few weeks, and hopefully it will awaken those or rattle up those who are so close to their awakened abilities, to take off a layer of the darkness. And we were bathed in a violet flame. So we saw lavender growing like in the permafrost areas. We were able to see that lakes that were desecrated with biochemical had tropical fish being brought back into them. Islands that hold and house a lot of these chemicals away from society, we were able to purge and cleanse in those areas as well. And every single step of the way is just divinely guided. So this up today, I felt like a new woman when I was going through and celebrating of all the story times that we've been able to do with the children. So between the 100 children at the Selecha Orphanage in Zambia, Africa, that we read to every Friday and Saturday with Speak Up events, we've also had about 60 stories with Florentina and friends and reaching the children who are battling neuroblastoma cancer all over the world. So together we were over 88 stories, and adding Clubhouse, we were over 100 and I think 16 to 120 stories that we've been able to do from our pillow in the last almost year and 4 months, 5 months. So I am sending so much gratitude for all of those who have helped me along this journey, just to keep fighting for forgiveness, to keep bringing color into our lives, and have helped me to expand that into building this platform out. Just like for adults for forgiveness, we have Speak Up in Color for the children. And I couldn't have done it without the support that I found right here on Facebook, where both of those platforms run simultaneously. And whichever up I'm at, I hold both communities near and dear to my heart, and I look forward to more adventures, more pillow talks and pillow parties, and trash can truths. And I will commit to coming on the Feargiveness community more often to be able to do these lives with you and to get your input on different healing modalities that you are using and how your journeys are going, or how you're doing at upcycling your own trash cans of traumas and insecurities, or any recipes that you have that you're sipping in. So I leave you with that we are all 80% water, and that as we go through the transition of what we are going to be experiencing, this love wave that has already started to arrive and it's been here for a little while. It's really about you focusing on you first and purifying from the inside out, whether that is emotional purification, mental purification, physical purification, or energetic purification. Really focusing on you. And the one thing that works in all of those is water. And that if we're 80% water and we can move those emotions, we can move them through our physical body, our mental body, and our etheric body, utilizing water. And for me, it's been scientifically proven that water will uh, start its healing process within 11 minutes from the very first sip. So if we want to upcycle that to a quicker, if we drink through a straw, we get 50% more consumed. And if we were able to drink through a straw for 11 seconds, you're opening up both portals, 11 seconds and 11 minutes, to really purify and nourish you from the inside out. And I encourage you to, whether it's you drink water every hour, you drink it every time you see synchronistic numbers, whatever gets you into the rhythm of drinking water, find out what works for you. In the beginning, water, my sips, when you sip through a straw, you can't cry. And that really helped me when I was younger and in my career, that I would use my sips to stop and to pause the emotion to be flowed through. And now, as we transition through forgiveness, you want to let it flow and to flow your glow. So, really making sure that that is a good tip if you ever need it, but really utilizing your sips to bring it in and allow it to flow right back out. I am sending you so much love. Thank you all for joining me this evening on this Trash Can Truth, Pillow Talk, and Energy Update. And your rainbow of hearts, it's on its way to you. And I look forward to connecting with you on the other side of this rainbow. Have a wonderful day, everybody.